The time is 6 o'clock. Do I need to do that over again for the record? Oh, okay. All right. And will everybody please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance and a moment of silence? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Simon didn't say. Okay, thank you. All right, our next item on the agenda is roll call. Will clerk please call the roll?
Mayor Cindy Simpson.
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Brett McWhorter.
Here.
Trustee Daniel Hennick.
Here.
Trustee Corey Jabor. Trustee Nick Manning.
Here.
Trustee Andreas Esparza.
Here.
Trustee David Payton.
Here.
All right, thank you. Next item is approval of the agenda. I would entertain a motion and a second.
Make a motion to approve the agenda as presented. Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Aye.
Sorry, I should have waited a little longer. Okay, thank you. All right, so now we're going to switch to audience business, and I do have a little thing to read, just the rules. Senate Bill 24-131 prohibits firearms in public buildings, with the exception of law enforcement. All people wishing to address the board shall do so from the podium provided in the boardroom, and all comments will be directed to the board. Public comments regarding items not on the agenda shall be limited to 5 minutes per person unless they're part of a formal presentation, and then they would have made arrangements prior. And then public comments regarding public hearing items on the agenda will be limited to 3 minutes per person at the time the item comes up on the agenda. Special presentations of items not on the agenda shall be limited to 5 minutes. The board will appoint a timekeeper. All people from the podium shall clearly and audibly state their name, physical address, and the town business topic they wish to speak about. Prior to speaking, give a little pause for our clerk to record the information. And then no person shall be allowed to speak until recognized by the mayor. Requests of the board to accept written information shall be accepted at that time, although no action will be taken at the meeting. If it's not on our agenda, we are not allowed to take action. Written information accepted at the meeting shall be provided in the board packet for the next meeting if necessary. All right. And this is our sign-up sheet for tonight. Nobody's on it. So is there anybody that didn't make the sheet and you want to be on the sheet? Okay, come on up. Yes.
If they're here for agency contribution, either follow-ups or applications, they don't need to sign up.
Yes, exactly. Okay, all right. Well, that took care of that, didn't it? Thank you, Heather. Heather knew. All right, moving on. Then we have so is the presentation from Mancos Trails Group now, or?
No, that's under agency contribution.
Oh, got it. Okay, all right, cool. All right, well then we will move on to from audience business to the Montezuma County Commission update. Gerald is not here, so we will move on to item G, announcements. No announcements? Any from you guys? Okay. I just had one, just to, for the record. Heather, Daniel, and I met with Tracy Stoffel and Matt Gordon from DOLA Main Streets program from 3:30 to 4:30 here in the building last week, Wednesday, thank you. And it was a really good conversation, and then we moved over to Fence Line and spent a couple of hours talking to whoever came in to talk with us about it, and it seemed like a really neat, just really organic conversations, and I would say at least, like, it was kind of hard because it was a revolving group, but I think probably about 20 to 30 people. Is that what you would guess? Yeah, and so that was really neat. So anyway, I just want to mention that happened, and it went really well. All right, so the next item up on our agenda is consent agenda items. And just for the record, anything that floats to the top for our consent agenda, we don't really discuss in the meeting, but anybody here on the board can ask for an item to be pulled off the consent agenda and heard on our regular discussion and action item agenda. So the two items this week for our consent agenda items are minutes of September 10, 2025, and the Southwest opioid response. Any comments, concerns? Okay. I would look for a motion in a second.
I make a motion we, oh my gosh, my brain just went dead. Andres is off the phone. Can we call him back?
I think he said
I think
not
he
to.
said not to.
He said not to,
Yeah.
okay.
He said if we dropped him again, he would.
I make a motion we approve the consent agenda as written.
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second to approve the consent agenda items. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, passes. Next item up on our discussion and action items, item I on our agenda is 2025 second round agency contribution follow-up reports. So
we have, 4 follow-ups, and all 4 of them chose to come in person.
Cool.
So, I don't know if that works.
I would just say whoever gets there first, you get to go. Make his common press. Sorry, I hadn't flipped to that part of the packet yet. Thank you.
Yes,
Yes.
there are pictures of smiling, happy people.
Well,
Printing.
It's awesome.
All right, first of all, I'd like to thank you again for funding.
Can you say your name and address?
Yes, I'm Jody Chappell with the Mancos Common Press. I'd like to thank you for the funding to put on this community event we called the Print Jam, and it took place on July 26th during Mancos Days. The event hit many of our mission targets as well as items in our strategic plan. The 4 main tenets of our mission are history, art education, artist support, and community. This event hit all 4 of them. People were able to print on a 100-plus-year-old press and see what it took to put ink on paper and words and images. We had 8 stations with different types of printmaking that everyone from children to elders were able to try their hand at. Some participants hit all 8 stations and went home with an armful of art that they had made with their own hands, all free to them. Through this grant, we were able to pay 8 teaching artists, not just a stipend, but what they deserved to make using their knowledge and experience. We estimated that we had upwards of 75 people from the community during the duration of the Print Jam, learning about the press and making prints together. In terms of our strategic plan for programming this year, one aspect was to introduce printing to younger generations. In this event, we were able to hit all generations. We also wanted to create opportunities for free or low-cost printmaking accessible to all. We were able to do this with our grant. Although most of the grant money went towards the Print Jam event, any extra money after paying our teachers and buying supplies went into our scholarship fund to provide reduced price youth programming and to be able to offer full and partial scholarships for every class we offer. Any questions? All right, that's it.
Thank you very much. Appreciate you coming. All right, next up, I have my act together sort of now. Mancos Trails Group.
I understand to be able to hear you with the microphone back there. For those that want to watch up here, I'm Don Hoffman. I'm the chairperson for Mancos Trails Group. I live at 543 Main Drive, Zone Cortez. Of course, here for the agency contribution follow report, excuse me. Either as a reminder, if folks don't know, our Mancos Trails Group was established in 2012, based on some language in the town of Mancos Trails plan that sought to seek out a Friends of the Trail style group. And ultimately, we were formed in 2017. We are an all-volunteer nonprofit group. We use Mackett Valley resources as a 501c3 fiscal agent. Our mission is shown there, but it promotes trail stewardship, develops sustainable trails, and promotes positive trail interactions among all trail users in the St. Mackett Valley. What this application or request for funding from the town was for is between 2021 and 2024, we had a request with the Bureau of Land Management to build 12 miles, 12 plus miles of trails out of the aqueduct system, just 2 miles out of town. The main trailhead, which started out being the only trailhead that the BLM had approved, but then they authorized a small parking area there by the old county dump site, or county dump site. So this is the aqueduct trailhead area. There are facilities there, quite a bit of use that occurs out there. So for this agency contribution, we very much appreciate not only the opportunity, but the immediate response the night we did the application. That was just fantastic. It was for $1,500, and that was for a porta potty rental out at Aqueduct. That's being used to rent porta potty out there for 7 months. In addition to that, the move in, move out costs and Memphis Valley Resources fee. The reason of that is the Bureau of Land Management didn't have funding this year to do that rental of the porta potty. So the town provided the funds. So our report, as the follow-up, is in the following pictures, if you would. Sorry, excuse me. What do all those pictures have in common? Maybe ask a little easier question. What did you see in those pictures? Maybe ask a little easier question. What did you see in those questions?
Trash.
Trash.
People, piles of food.
You didn't see human waste, TP, and other kind of unsightly trash that might occur out there, thanks to the town of Memphis's contribution. So, Memphis Trails Group thanks you for your support, providing the agency contribution grant. We produced a sign acknowledging the town, the grant from the town. That's not posted yet. We're trying to work with the BLM on the appropriate way to do that. And I thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Appreciate it.
Next up, Make Us United.
Good evening. My name is Dodie Shepard. I am at 535 West Grand. Can I just go ahead?
Yeah, just
I thought I had
Yeah,
to wait
sorry.
for permission.
Yes, you may speak.
Well, thank you. I am on the board of Make Us United, and I am also the Basic Needs Chair of Make Us United. It is a partnership with many other nonprofits and the school here in town, and we support families mostly working families that have a gap in essential needs. And this funding, agency contribution from the town, came at a time where it really filled a gap because we had funding about a year and a half ago. That funding had completed, the requests kept coming in, and we didn't have any funding, and that was a challenging time. The good upside was that it helped us collaborate more because we had to. But what this funding was able to, it really was able to help us be cohesive with a plan. We haven't spent all the money yet. I assure you it will all be spent, and we have a plan for that, and I will get to that in just a second. And the other piece of basic needs that is a little bit of a different program, but very much aligned with the idea of basic needs, is our Summer Hub program. This serves children mostly at the school. We did 1 week at the Grange, and we served 104 kids this summer. And it was the last week at the Grange. I don't think another human could have fit in there. So I think Katie will be coming and doing a bigger presentation and with a video and fun stuff, but I just want to give you a little foreshadowing of what's to come there. Specifically with the funding you all provided, really what we were able to do is braid that with some other funding that we had and develop a budget for the first time in 3 years. We had a basic needs budget. That budget is $15,000. And your 1,500 was very much part of it. And so far what we've used that funding for is to support 4 different families with back to school supplies. This was clothing and just basically kind of startup needs of one family. We provide some emergency stopgap funding for a student whose family was in crisis. These were all through the school. The need came through students in our community. And then there was 2 students who were doing work study in Cortez, and we gave them 2 fuel cards to do this work study program, transporting them. I mean, they were transporting themselves, but just supporting with the fuel. The biggest reason we've held back on the remaining, basically 1,400 of the funding, the majority of it, is because the biggest need that is emerging at the school and with Make Us Food Share, but particularly the school, is they want to bring back a backpack program that used to exist in this community, hasn't for a while. And there's lots of interest, and it takes a lot of collaboration. So we're working with the school who is identifying the need. The kids are real clear. They're hungry, and they need more than what, their breakfast and lunch at the school is providing. Most of the teachers, out of their own money, fill their classrooms with food. So what we're really trying to do is something more formal and have a backpack that goes home with kids or some other kind of bag. The Make Us Food Share will collaborate with this. And the biggest thing, we're trying to move a little bit slowly because we don't want to take funding away from any of these other organizations, but we really want to amplify what all of us can do together. And then the ultimate hope, and this is really aspirational, and it may take till end of next year, I don't know yet, but we would love to see a student as a part of the project-based learning program at the school run that backpack program. Cool. But you can imagine the coordination that's required for all of these steps, and where can we store this kind of thing. And so those are some of the logistics that we're still working out, but this funding would be seed money. I think it's very likely we will make that happen. I don't know if it'll be in this next year. I mean, what's left of the school year, or if it'll be, we're gonna be ready to go once the school year happens. If that doesn't come to fruition, our plan for the backup plan for the plan is to just roll your funding into our Summer Hub for next year. It costs $333 a week to send one student to Summer Hub. We pay our staff very well. They are extraordinary. The vast majority of them are school teachers, and this is their summer gig. So $1,000 would send one student to Summer Hub for free to them for the whole summer. So the funding will get used. It's just we're trying to be really intentional with it. Any questions? I don't know if I'm supposed to take those, but
No,
that's what I got.
No, that's fine.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you. All right. Next up, Mancos Creative District.
Hi, I'm Lisa Taylor, and I'm here representing Mancos Creative District, and then specifically Mancos Mesa Verde Literary Festival, Writers Conference and Literary Festival. We had our first literary festival, so I don't have the history to give you, but we so appreciate you helping us with our first leap of faith to have a literary festival here in the town of Mancos. One of the things I love about Mancos is that people come up with ideas and people help. So I'm here to report we had 48 visiting writers that came from across the country. They came from places like Colorado, obviously different parts of Colorado, Utah, New Mexico, Arizona, Wyoming, California, Montana, Missouri, Massachusetts, Connecticut, Vermont, and Pennsylvania. Pretty amazing because we did not pay any of the writers to come here. So the money that we took in, thanks to you, was used to support marketing, advertising, printed materials. We needed maps and handouts. We had 2 workshops for youth. We had a lodging stipend for the keynote speakers. So the only money that we paid anybody was the 2 keynotes that we had. Everything else, I mean, these people came on their own dime, but they added to our economy. Many of them stayed here. All of them ate here because they had to. And we also had scholarships for some of the conference attendees. But this enrichment program, we believe, really benefits Mancos. And we estimated we have between 125 and 150 attendees. And we really think that this is going to blossom, and now word of mouth has gotten out. We already got asked if we could partner with somebody for an award, so it's going to happen. And we're talking about adding other things to involve more youth, like possibly a poetry slam next year. So it's growing, and thank you so much for your support. Really, really appreciate it. Any questions?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Lisa.
Yeah, thank you so much. Yes.
Before you move on,
Yeah.
So when you're ready to go, okay.
Okay. Any comments from the board?
Just thank you for coming back.
Yeah, thank you for
Yeah.
even telling us what you did. I really appreciate that.
It's really cool. It's exciting.
It's
Yeah,
nice
fun.
to have that transparency for the public to know what taxpayer money is going towards when we put these out, so thank you.
It's also exciting. We live in a really, we live in a really cool community. It's cool to hear for the size of this area, how active people are here. It's really, really neat. So thank you.
Yeah. I love the comment, you know, put ideas out there and people help. I love that. Yeah.
If you don't ask, don't get.
That's right. You don't ask, the answer's no. All right. Did he have any on?
He dropped.
Yeah, he's gone.
So Andre's comments were good to hear that groups will be attending in person to present their follow-up reports. This goes a long way towards keeping us updated on the impact of our contributions and helps us build more personal relationships with community partners.
Cool. Okay. And just for the record, because we haven't really stated it, Andres was on the phone. He's coming back from a conference down in Arizona, and we lost him right around the petrified forest. So apparently his phone got petrified. Yeah, we're assuming he's fine. Anyway, so because he knew he would probably have his call dropped, he sent comments ahead of time. So that's what we're doing there. All right, so next item up is 2026 first round agency contribution applications. And we have, let's see, gotta flip the page here, Access Health Systems. Or did you want to introduce the idea at all, Heather, or should we just dive right in? Okay, yeah, come on up. Yeah.
And you're welcome to stay if you don't have to stay if you've already presented. Just want to throw that out there, but you're welcome.
Good evening.
Hi.
I'm Nicole Glazer. I'm a Cortez resident and work for Access Health System. And this is Haley Leonard Saunders, my colleague.
also with access and living prevents.
And if you can just speak up a
Oh,
little
sorry.
bit more, that would be great.
I'm usually not accused of being that quiet, so thank you.
Pull up.
Can I get you guys to repeat your name a little bit louder? I'm
Yeah.
so sorry.
No, don't be. Nicole Glazer and Haley Leonard Saunders. Thank you.
Thank you.
So we are here to thank you for the opportunity to apply for some funding, first of all, and then to answer any questions you might have about our request for the $1,500 from the town of Mancos to help us to address some critical service gaps that we might be facing with some crisis funding cuts that we've had this year. So we're not, I know that everybody else isn't a stranger to some of the cuts that are happening when it comes to healthcare and crisis services, including our walk-in crisis, respite services, mobile crisis are some of those services that are really important to us to preserve and maintain and even expand as the need seems to just be getting bigger. If you'd like, I could give you a little bit of data about what the population is that we served in Mancos, if that's helpful.
Yeah, the Mancos specific.
Yeah, absolutely. So in Mancos, in fiscal year 2025, we served 87 unique individuals with crisis services of some sort. And there were 509 services provided to those 87 folks.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah.
Anything to add? Just want to note that the crisis services that we're talking about is not inclusive of the community intervention program. So this is the crisis services that you don't see that are coming through the Access Care line, that are people calling in at all times of the day and night asking for support. They're also responding to requests from friends and family members about loved ones, law enforcement, EMS, and they are sort of the undetected first responders that are behind the scenes working with individuals, connecting them to care. Our crisis services work really closely with our whole continuum, so they get people connected to outpatient behavioral health, primary care. Many times we found with the community intervention program, about 30% of the people that were contacted to that program needed connection to primary care to handle, maintenance of chronic conditions, preventative care, things to get them back on their feet, assistance with medications, all of those kind of things. Crisis is also connecting people to psychiatry and dental, pharmacy, you name it, because the needs that people have are extensive. They also help with social determinants of health, helping people meet basic needs, and they do quite a bit of follow-up. So they will stay with that individual for at least 3 visits, if not much longer, depending on what that person needs. So there is continuity between that initial contact and subsequent care. So this program has played a really important role in the region for a very long time, and anytime that we have to cut or change a staffing model, there are implications, especially for law enforcement, in terms of increased contacts and longer calls, which they don't want to have to do. They need to go and police the town. And also it reduces the burden on the emergency department, and we know how important our critical access hospital is here and the issues that they're facing as well in terms of uncompensated care. So crisis plays an important role sort of as the interface between individuals with mental health and substance use concerns and some of these end use scenarios, incarceration, ER admissions, all sorts of things, family issues. So we really appreciate the opportunity to present to you all and are happy to answer questions.
Okay, any questions?
I do have a question. Nicole, you mentioned kind of like budget shortfalls. I mean, I imagine it's a pretty complicated conversation, but I'm just curious what y'all are seeing in terms of deficits and how much you're having to scramble for funding, and I'm just curious to kind of get more of a brushstroke with that.
It's an interesting time. So
We have already seen cuts at the state level.
Yeah.
In our safety net services and crisis services. So right now, we have absorbed about $1.2 million to those safety net services. So we are aggressively pursuing funding. I don't know how else to say it. So working really closely with partners and putting calls to anyone we have a relationship with across the state to see if there are ways that we can fill these gaps with private foundation funds and different creative solutions like braiding funding, working with Rocky Mountain Health Plans to see if there's a primary care or physical health element that we can incorporate to be able to support behavioral health services. And this is not inclusive of anything that we're anticipating in terms of federal cuts. So that's the next month that we're planning for. So yeah, there's a lot of concerns in terms of foreseeing this now. What will be next?
On a scale of 1 to 5, what's like crisis level? 5 is like, the building's on fire. 1 is like, we got this.
It depends on the day.
4.8.
I'll say this. So about 6 years ago, we experienced a similar cut to crisis services. And at that time, we had 2 teams that were 24/7. And that was a $1.1 million cut. We have not recovered any of that funding. And since then, there's been developments of co-responder programs, CIP programs, community-initiated solutions. So we're not seeing that gap filled by the state. So it is concerning to see another round of cuts to the safety net, knowing that we didn't get back up to the levels that we were before. So we're not in a position to continue to cut. I mean, I don't know what that looks like at this point, other than some really hard conversations and likely what would have to happen is other services would have to go in order to support crisis continuation, because we cannot not have crisis.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, so there will be hard decisions in other areas that will affect many people. It's just the reality of the situation. So $1,500 at a time is what we're going to have to do, and it's critically important.
Okay, that's helpful. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
Sure.
All right.
Thanks for having it. Anything else?
I think we're good.
Sorry to be such a bummer.
No, it's helpful because I think it's hard conversations. I think we need to know what's happening in our community beyond not just here. You guys are backstop for a lot of mental health stuff in this community, and I mean, if you're struggling, it's concerning at large. And so I just I don't know.
Well, we see it from the government side of things too, from the state as well, with regards to grants that are available and money that had been there and are no longer there. So everybody's seeing it, but we see it from a different perspective from I've been on this board for almost 7 years, and it's changed quite a bit.
Yes, there have been a lot of changes. There was so much available, and now there's not. But I have to say, you all, the town of Memphis has been so supportive and collaborative with the CIP program and everything, really. I mean, I feel like our relationship, especially with the Marshal's office and working with Heather, has been excellent. So we just appreciate the opportunity to collaborate and look for strategies that best serve the town and the county.
Yeah. And the great news is the crisis. Sorry, we just scared we've been able to retain our therapists that were working with CIP, which is really awesome. Yeah, so they, we've got a crisis walk-in therapist at Cortez Integrated Healthcare, and both Dante and Charlie are both working out of Cortez too. So
thanks for observing.
It's not a staffing, we've got these great staff that care about the community.
Yeah.
So it's just about keeping them employed and moving and all that. So
that's good to hear. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. Thanks.
Thanks, John.
Cancer Resource Alliance of Montezuma and Dolores Counties.
Hi,
My name's Maxine Anderson, and I live in Dolores, 16119 County Road 28.2 in Dolores. Do you want it again?
A little slower, please.
Okay, sorry. Maxine Anderson, and it's S-O-N, and it's 16119 Road 28.2, Dolores, Colorado.
Thank you.
And I'm here on behalf of the Cancer Resource Alliance, and I really appreciate you guys considering our grant request. We are a completely nonprofit group of volunteers. Most of us are cancer survivors. And our primary mission right now is to provide grants to people in Montezuma or Dolores counties who have cancer. Right now, our grant for first-time cancer people is $600. And anybody who repeats, they're allowed to repeat every year, and we give them $300. We have already funded this year 92 grants, which is more than we did last year by the end of the year, and we still have 3 more months. So we are really booming, I guess. You know, cancer really affects a lot of people. When this group started 20 years ago, we were mostly doing mammograms and pap smears, and that's kind of changed, and it's become much more available to anybody with cancer. So, for example, we have a child in Mancos that we have funded a couple times, and so I just want to encourage you to consider funding us. We have one big main fundraiser. It's the Pretty in Pink campaign, which probably some of you have heard of. That is our primary money-making venture, and we usually clear about $30,000. The rest of the money that we use comes from private donations or Lord Grant or Mancos. And also the Brewfest this year in Mancos was half of the money was given to us. The guy who runs that was a receiver of the money a couple years ago, and so he's really dedicated. It was really very good for us and great for him. So anyway, that's kind of our thing. If you have any questions, I thought I would give you guys some brochures that just tell how to access the money. Generally speaking, because we're all just volunteers, we use pretty much 98% of our money goes towards grants, and it takes about 3 days. It's a really fast thing. And the one thing about our group is that the money can be used for medical or non-medical expenses. So, you know, maybe you'll pay your light bill and a couple of your other bills, or get you gas to Durango for your treatments. But anyway, it's a really, really good group, and we're all volunteers, and I hope you'll consider refunding us. You've funded us in the past.
Okay.
Any questions?
Thank you.
No? Let me give you some. I'm going to give you a couple cards.
That's great. Thank you.
We're trying to get the word out, and obviously we're getting the word out better because we're having more.
Yeah, more people are finding you. All right. Next up, community connections.
Good evening. Tara Keene, that's Kiene, and I live at 3153 East 5th Avenue in Durango. So before I start, I just want to point out, I went to the literary festival and it was amazing. That was definitely money well spent, and I assure you it was not just the writers that were dumping money along grants. So thank you so much for having us again. Community Connections has been operating now in this region for 40 years. We're having our anniversary this year, and as some of you know, we went through a pretty major transition last year when we became the regional case management agency for people with disabilities in this region. Went from serving about 250 to 300 people in a year to now we're over 1,100 that we serve in the area. It's been a really fun time to figure out who we're going to be when we grow up. And one of the things that we have really started doing is leaning into that care coordination space. And so one of the things that has been really exciting over the last year that we are intending to continue is we started having conversations with a group in La Plata County who had done some health improvement conversations over the course of a year and a half. And one of the major gaps that they identified was access to some sort of navigation for all the great resources and systems that we have, particularly really connecting that healthcare and health services with some of those social determinants of health services, our community-based organizations, that a lot of times the connections and referrals between those two were clunky and a lot of people were getting lost. So this group that had been having these conversations were shopping around for, we want this to happen, who can help us do it? And Community Connections said, wow, that sounds a lot like the case management that we're already doing, at least the same skills, the same arena. And we said, if you go with Community Connections, we'd love to expand this idea to the entire region, that this is not a La Plata County problem, this is a rural Colorado problem. And since we already had a footprint in the entire region, said, let's go for this. We have been really lucky to, over the past year, acquire some pretty solid funding for the next 3 years to start this project and really do a pilot. So we will be expanding what we're doing in this area and with Mancos residents. Really exciting. Also started recently disability benefits navigation. So families, people with disabilities who are trying to get that Medicaid application through all of the hoops and barriers, Social Security, any of these applications that honestly, I think you need a PhD to fill out. We are giving the most complicated processes to some of our most vulnerable population. So we now have some support, wanting to get the word out there. It's completely free. We'll come to you, help you get all the paperwork together, everything you need to really make that happen. So when we're looking at the funds that Mancos has been so generous to provide in the past, the kind of things that are really helpful with the funds are especially when we have already some funding that has little gaps in it. We frequently get grants that it covers most of what we need. Helps us hire staff, but won't buy them a computer, right? So we end up with these little gaps. We'll help with travel, but not the kind of mileage it takes to get around our rural communities. So really filling those gaps is crucial, especially in these days when we are, as Haley said, kind of piecing together everything we can. The other thing that's been really helpful for us is just that commitment from the town to leverage other funds. When we can show, foundations, governmental funders, hey, we really have a local commitment. Our local communities believe in us, invest in us. We can really take that $1,500 and literally leverage for millions. So it really does make a difference when we are telling our story and getting more funds to do more within our rural communities.
Okay.
So that's where I am.
I have a question for you, Tara.
Absolutely.
What kind of a in-town Mancos caseload might you have if you have that?
I have that. I might have to flip through a couple of pages of really small print. Yes, so this past year it was 35 children and adults.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Thank you.
Yeah.
I just want to make sure all the details get on the recording.
Absolutely.
All right, thank you. Any other questions for Tara?
Thank you. Oh, I do. I have a question. So Heather, did we receive a follow-up report from January from Community Connections yet?
We did not. So, but I made an executive decision. In 2025, the first round for 2025, these are first round for 2026. Anything approved, checks will be cut in January. So this time last year, applications were submitted and approved. And then in April of 2025, that round came for their follow-up reports. Community Connections did not come to that meeting. However, that kicked off the discussion and ultimate decision by the board to allow written follow-up reports.
That's right. Did we get anything written?
I'm sorry?
Did we get anything written?
No, because they did not show up. We talked about it for a couple of months, and then we amended the process for this round. So I made an executive decision to not disqualify them because we changed the process.
Makes sense.
If the board had not had that, if that had not caused the discussion and the decision, I would have notified them that they did not show up. However, I made an executive decision. You're welcome to overrule it. This is your project. But because it kicked off that discussion and change in policy.
Makes sense to me. It's hard to hold someone accountable for a rule that came in place after they, we're in a cycle.
Well, the rule was in effect, but what we had talked about was the administrative burden for such a small grant.
That's right.
That's what.
I remember.
So and if I was wrong, I will absolutely apologize. But
Good question.
Well, in the application that we agreed to, that was signed in January, it was agreed that a follow-up report would be given, right? Am I misunderstanding that?
what we used to require when they came to the first one, and then in April of 2025, it was still in effect that follow-up reports must be given in person at that podium. At that April of 2025 meeting, when Community Connections didn't make it, that started the discussion to allow written follow-up reports due to the administrative burden for such a small grant. So while they were technically in April of 25 in violation, I guess you could say, of the policy, 45 days later it was changed. So I allowed that to present to you.
Okay, so then my question for you, Tara, would be, that requirement is in our policy. Can we get a commitment for a follow-up report this time?
Absolutely. And I'm sorry we missed that. I believe we've done it every other year, and it must have somehow slipped through the cracks. So I sincerely apologize that we missed that. I did not realize we had.
I just remember, we were talking about the administrative burden, and then I hear, in your words exactly, the local commitment, they believe in us, invest in us, and you leverage that for other grants. So to me, this seems like a largely symbolic gesture, talking about an organization with $3 million in the town of Mancos, and the citizens and taxpayers, I think, deserve that kind of accountability. And when we give money with requirements attached to them, I think it's up to the town to hold these organizations accountable for living up to the agreement. And so I think that's why I'm asking about this and making sure that as we discuss, we can give you the opportunity to answer, maybe why you didn't give us a report, or, if it is valuable or if it's not valuable. Not really able to understand clearly the picture here, I guess, because, it wasn't, and I don't know, we kind of heard that through the grapevine, that the administrative burden, so maybe, give you the opportunity to respond.
As I say, that is a completely valid concern, and I'm sorry we apparently missed an email or missed an invite, because we certainly would have made it a priority to be here.
Okay. Thank you very much. Any other questions?
No.
All right. Thank you, Karen.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Next up is Hospice of Montezuma.
Carol Baumgartner, Hospice of Montezuma, address 7617 Road 40.5, Mancos. Hello again. I do want to, it's always fun for me to come to this because we work so closely with these other agencies. I mean, we request support from Access and we get grants from the Cancer Fund, and we work with Community Connections all the time getting our patients qualified for Medicaid now. And so it's really interesting to see their reports as well. Just, if you don't mind my side note, the report on last year's grant did fall earlier, I think, than we had reported before. And so I know for our calendar, I wasn't watching for it yet. Just for our annual calendar, it felt like it came really fast. So, Hospice Montezuma is a nonprofit organization. Our primary focus is end-of-life care for people who have been diagnosed with 6 months or less to live. We've been serving Montezuma, Dolores counties for 40 years. And what we have done is, obviously, we're primarily Medicare funded, but because we're a nonprofit and our focus is serving the community, our board is committed to finding what skills and opportunities we have to support the community in addition to our Medicare services. So through that commitment for the 40 years, we've always accepted anybody regardless of their ability to pay. So if they don't have Medicare or Medicaid that covers their care, we do still accept them. It doesn't make any difference. Their care is exactly the same regardless. Where we run into that a lot is younger people that are not old enough for Medicare and haven't qualified, as a new diagnosis that doesn't get Medicaid. And maybe they have health insurance and the health insurance, will cover, $100 or something like that. Very, low ability care. So that's our first nonprofit thing that we do that is unfunded. Medicare requires that we provide bereavement services to our patients for 13 months, which is unfunded. Because government agencies love to have unfunded mandates. But because we train, we focus so much on training all of our staff to do these services, we began providing free community support to the community for our bereavement services. So anybody can come to us for support for free, individual counseling, telephone calls, whatever they need, support groups. We do several support groups every month. That has expanded to caregiver support because we found that. We do advanced directives, helping people prepare in advance. We added the pet peace of mind, which helped people figure out what they're going to do with their pets when they become ill. That includes volunteers that come and walk and feed their animals, as well as helping them rehome them after they pass. Children's bereavement is something that we've been expanding into. Again, it seems there's a higher need, and so we'll be doing that. We did a pet advanced directives for the first time within this last year, telling people how to plan ahead for what you're going to do with your pet. And so our board is committed to, and we've had a lot of, because everybody's doing the same thing. You've got the same amount of resources or less resources and trying to do more because there's more need. And so, we have conversations pretty regularly with our board of directors about is this still our focus, is to support the community, because all of it is by donations and grants, all of the nonprofit that we provide, all these additional services, and they are very committed to continuing that. And so the town of Mancos has always been, a great supporter of Hospice of Montezuma. And, we appreciate that. Of our patients, in the last year, 10% of our patients were in Mancos. And we spent 1,850 hours of nonprofit, 40 hours of travel, and 1,250 miles for the nonprofits. Through that, we provided 447 in-person visits to people in these services.
All right, thank you.
And I'm sorry I don't have any toilet. I'm like, dang, I never have anything cool like the porta potty thing. I'm like,
I don't know. You got me with the dog walking.
Yeah,
you got me with that. That was great.
That's what we'll do.
Any questions?
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yeah, that was all I could do not to go. Okay, Montezuma Leadership Network.
Good evening. I'm really glad to be here tonight. My name's Matt Kefauver. I apologize. I didn't choose that name. It's Keef as in Frank, A-U-V as in Victor, E-R, and I'm at 226 North Market Street in Cortez, Colorado. I do want to say that Kefauver did make me the best speller in my kindergarten class in 1976. So there was one benefit. Thank you so much for having us here this evening, and we really appreciate your previous support. Definitely does not go unnoticed at all. We really appreciate the town of Mancos and what you've done for us. And I guess I want to just start with a question. How many people here have been through Leadership Montezuma before? A few.
About 20 years ago.
Right, about 20 years ago. That sounds about right. Leadership Montezuma has been around for 25 years. And it's really an incredible organization. What happened during COVID was that, like a lot of things, Leadership Montezuma hit pause. And we weren't sure that it was going to come back. So, after 22 years of being in existence, we thought, you know what, this is really worth a shot to bring it back. So that's what we've done. We're currently with our third cohort since the reboot. So this is our 25-26 cohort. And just a couple of weeks ago, we spent a good chunk of our day, most of our day here in Mancos. We ate here, we went to the library, we went to all the art galleries. And so Mancos is a really important part of Leadership Montezuma. I do want to just briefly read, in case some people aren't familiar with Leadership Montezuma, kind of what our mission is and just the general structure of it really quick. The purpose is to cultivate a diverse cohort of emerging leaders from various backgrounds, occupations, and cultures to foster learning and forge strong connections with many sectors of the community. So it is a 2-year program. Year 1, folks come and there are learners. So they come to a series of days. There are 9 themed days. The one that we did here a couple weeks ago was arts and culture. We have health and human services coming up. We have an education day coming up, Mountain Ute Day, 9 themed days that center around the community. So it's really nice for those people to be learners and to really sit and listen and to ask really thoughtful questions about the community. Year 2 is where these folks get to get their hands a little bit dirty. So they actually get to plan for the next cohort. So tomorrow night, I'm meeting with 4 different groups. The group we just finished and the next 3 upcoming groups. So it's a very interesting process, and we're developing leadership skills from day 1, really all the way through. So the funding from the town of Mancos is really important to us for a few reasons. One is that we had last year 15% of the cohort was from the town of Mancos. This year we only have, I shouldn't say only, we have 21 participants. Last year I think we had 25. So we have really robust cohorts. But because funding, especially for nonprofits, has been cut, we actually lost 3 cohort members after we began this cohort year. So their funding was cut, kind of rolls downhill, so to speak, and they had to pull out, and it's totally, completely understandable. So what we do with the funding from the town of Mancos is actually really direct. It's really something that we can, pin down. And that is that it's for sponsorships, for people who aren't typically unable to join Leadership Montezuma. It helps to for them to come and experience that, and then they have to, they still have to pay a $50 fee, even if they have a full sponsorship, just so there's buy-in. They have to go to their employers and get 9 days off, and then they have to commit to that second year. So the $500 doesn't mean they're off scot-free, but it may give someone an opportunity who previously wasn't able to be a participant in Leadership Montezuma. Yeah. Any questions about Leadership Montezuma? I talked really fast. I was a teacher for 30 years, and they said, talk fast or your kids won't make it to the next grade.
Yeah.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Gotta talk while they're still focused.
Yeah, if there's any questions at all, please reach out to myself as the chair of Leadership Montezuma or to Vanessa Malloy. She's our person who's kind of in charge, our paid employee for the organization.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any questions while Matt's here?
I don't think so.
All right, thanks, Matt.
Thank you.
Sex Assault Services Organization.
Hi there, I'm Laura Latimer. I'm the Executive Director of Say So, Sexual Assault Services Organization, and I live at 2006 Forest Avenue in Durango. Yeah, so thank you. It's such a pleasure to be here. One of my dreams is for every water bottle and coffee cup in our community to have a Say So sticker on it so people would know how to access services. Can I give you secrets?
Sure.
Okay. Thank you. So SASO provides advocacy to survivors of sexual violence. 1 in 3 people in their lifetimes will experience sexual violence, according to the CDC. When we get more specific and talk about what particular type of sexual violence, when we're talking specifically about sexual assault, the Colorado Coalition Against Sexual Assault estimates that it's 1 in 4 women and 1 in 17 men in Colorado. So that's a lot. That's a lot of people in our community. Just based on census data, that's about 4,500 people in Montezuma County and about 160 people just in the town of Mancos that in their lifetime will experience some sexual violence or sexual assault. In the last couple of years, SASO was invited to expand our services from Durango and La Plata County over to Montezuma and Dolores counties. Renew, our sister agency and service provider over here, was like, hey, we're not doing the best job with sexual assault. They had some staff cuts. And they're like, SASO, you guys are the experts. Would you please come provide services? So in the last couple of years, we've been doing some community outreach sessions, just getting a good idea about what community needs are in regards to sexual violence and what survivors' experiences have been in the community. And we're at this tipping point of opening office space in the 22nd District, Montezuma and Dolores County. So tomorrow even, I'm going around looking at some office space in Cortez, so we're pretty excited about that. We're looking at adding a half-time person that's just specifically going to be doing advocacy in the 22nd District, so that's really exciting too. Because we know that there's a lot of survivors in our community that are already accessing services. I think in the last couple of years, we've had 8 people that have identified or shared with us that they were from Mancos specifically. And it costs about $2,800 per person that we serve. That could look like 15 minutes on the support line of, hey, I can't sleep and I just need someone to talk to me. Or it could be hundreds of hours of staff time. Sitting in law enforcement reports when people are sharing their sacred story, or going to court with people if they're going to court, or going to the hospital for a forensic nurse exam. So our services are really varied, and it kind of depends on what the survivor is looking for. We don't have a prescriptive model. It's just meeting them on their healing journey from the trauma they experienced, and then doing what we can to wrap around support for them as they move forward. So we also offer healing from trauma support groups too. So that's a lot. We've been around since 1977, so we're almost turning 50. That's very exciting. As someone that just turned 50, I know how exciting that is. Yeah.
All right. Any questions?
Thank you.
Okay. Oh, thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay. Discussion? Comments from Andres?
Andres, excuse me, okay. I support funding all 6 applicants and suggest rolling the extra $6,000 if possible into a general fund to alleviate next year's budget concerns. Access health systems. Anything to support rural health services is a win for our community. Cancer Resource Alliance of Montezuma and Dolores counties. Thank you for your work with cancer patients. Community Connections, thank you for your work. Hospice of Montezuma, thank you for your work. Montezuma Leadership Network. I urge the MLM to seek Vegas recipients for the scholarship if possible. Sex Assault Services Organization, thanks for your great work supporting these needs in our town.
All right. Any other comments?
This is just the first round though, right?
Yeah.
Still got a second round, that would be
The second round.
what the remaining 15 is for.
The remaining 6,000.
The remaining six.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
not 15,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, and so what we do
Math
with the
is hard.
remaining part is a discussion for another day.
Yeah.
Part of the budget and all that.
Yeah.
I mean, if the trends are any indicator, we're just gonna get more and more requests, you know? I mean, it's interesting to me that we have 6 coming out the gate. And I'm with Andres, I think we need to fully fund all the requests. I think it's a moment of crisis for, I mean, look at the names on there, these are really solid organizations doing really good work in our community. And I just think we have to kind of lean into this, supporting these organizations and our community in this way.
I agree.
I'm just having a hard time with I see it as a broken agreement. And so I guess I would like the rest of your perspective on, should we be setting precedent that terms that were agreed to can be ignored?
I think that since we changed the policy now, I think that we move forward for this year and fund all of them. And then if we have another violation in the future, then we use our new policy to go by that.
I agree. I think it's incredible. I mean, these organizations are complex. They're doing really, dynamic work. I think so the grapevine piece, it was actually someone that came to me in a coffee shop that had presented and just said from their perspective, he was a grant writer, and he looked at it as how much money they had to pay him to come back. And out of the $1,500 grant, they were paying him $60 an hour. It ate away, let's say 10% of the grant just to do that follow-up. And so that's where that was the pressure point. I'm in agreement. I think, we have the rules in place now. I think it's kind of a future forward-looking component for me. I don't want to retroactively hold that against anybody.
Was it retroactive?
Yeah.
It was in place when they signed it.
Yeah.
It was on the agreement when they signed it. So that's where I'm hung up.
Yeah.
To me, this seems largely symbolic, right? We're giving them support and they're using it to leverage for grants, and then their explanation for the report just strikes me as the symbolism doesn't feel like it's going both ways.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. But
I feel like we give them the benefit of the doubt this time. But going forward, then that's our policy, our new policy. And I feel like if we give a little grace this year.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and to your point, Daniel, I totally get that. It's a BIF one time out of numerous times that we've given them money. They've always come back and reported, other than last year. So that's kind of how I'm looking at it. We have had a group that we gave money to like 4 years in a row, and they never came back and told us. And I think that's kind of where that came from. But I think with a group that has shown good faith all the other years that they've gotten money, I think that's what's kind of making the difference for me. But I'm really glad you caught that, asked the question, had that discussion, because I think it's a really important one to bring up.
I think if it was a trend, I would fall into camp.
Yeah.
But since, like she's saying, we've seen them year after year, that's the first time I've seen that happen with them. I feel a little bit like, it's good faith. Okay. Yeah.
You'll be looking for your emails.
don't listen to
Yeah. David, do you have any comments?
No, not any more than this.
Okay. All right. Okay. Then I would entertain a motion and a second, and the motion can be on individual ones, or it can be the whole kit and caboodle.
I'll make a motion to approve agency contributions in the amount of $1,500 to each of the 6 applicants that presented tonight.
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Will the clerk please call the roll? Vote.
Mayor Pro Tem Brett McWhorter.
Aye.
Trustee Daniel Henning.
Aye.
Trustee Nick Manning.
Aye.
Trustee David Payton.
All right.
Thank you guys. Thanks for coming.
Thank you all for coming and for the work that you do. I mean, that's a lot. And it doesn't make up for a couple $1 million dropped out of your budget, but it's something. So, yeah. So, thank you all very much. And if you want to dash now, we totally understand. If you want to hang out, hang out.
Yeah, thank you all.
Yeah.
Heather, you have something?
I was just gonna say, I do apologize again for my conversation and moving forward.
No apology necessary, Madam Clerk.
Yeah.
I don't think you
No.
Well, I'll follow, there would be more deviation from policy.
Yeah.
It'll be the April meeting for the report.
Depending on where it falls in April, it will either be the last meeting in April or the first meeting in May. Okay. It depends on where it falls. Because we have elections this week. So it'll depend on how. Yes. I resume that.
Excellent question.
Yeah.
All right. Next item on the agenda is appointment of Roman Jefferson to the Mancos Tree Board. Gee, you must be Roman. Come on up. Tell us why you want to be on the tree board.
My name is Roman Jefferson, 36980 Road P.3, Mancos. What was your question?
Why do you want to be on the tree board?
Well, so I actually have a business, and our motto is more trees, better trees. I decided I wanted to be in business because I think, especially in certain parts of this county, we can do better. We can take care of the trees that we have, and we can plant more of them, because my personal philosophy is trees are what make our cities livable. So I've been involved in Cortez for many years, 5 or 6 now. There is a subcommittee that I'm the chair of over there. We don't meet very often because there's no point person with the city to talk to and work with. But we are making progress. I mean, the fact that we have a subcommittee now is a big thing, and we had a city arborist for a long time, or for a short time, and then he got let go. Anyways, I'm making progress there. I live in Mancos, and now that I have a kid, my focus is Mancos. And I'm like, I just got to pull the plug and get involved with Mancos. And I've had discussions with a couple of you about doing that. So here I am.
Yay.
I hope I can help. I missed the last meeting. So I'll be here in May when you guys have another one, I guess.
All right. Any comments, questions?
Say, I was one of the ones that had conversations a couple times, and I'm glad to see you here. Thank you.
No problem. I mean, thinking about, not only am I the chair for Cortez, but I'm the contractor. Our company is now the contractor. And so I put myself in the seat of the city arborist. And it really is a different perspective when you start thinking about the forest and the overall health, and putting that lens and looking at Mancos. There is some work that needs to be done, but also you have a fraction of the trees that Cortez does, because you don't have the right-of-ways that Cortez does. So you're talking about maybe hundreds of trees instead of thousands and thousands. So there's not a lot of work to be done, but here I am. I'm a board certified master arborist. I am tree risk assessment qualified. So if there's a hazard tree, I'm not necessarily going to go do the assessment for free because there's liability involved. But I hope I can bring some value to the group.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Now, you said you live out on P Road?
Yeah, out by Summit Lake.
Okay. And so on the tree board, just for the record, we do allow one position to be from out of town. And so I'm assuming that's the position that's vacant.
We allow one position in 81328 zip code outside of town limits.
Okay.
That position is vacant.
Has been vacant.
Was vacant. And we have one more vacancy with the core and in-town resident.
Okay. Right on. Okay. If there's, did Andres have any comment on this one?
No, approve this motion and want to thank Roman for stepping up and look forward to having a small business owner and professional arborist on this board.
All right. Anybody else?
Ditto.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
All right.
I'll see you
Then
in May, I guess.
I would look for a motion and a second.
I'll make a motion to appoint Roman Jefferson to the Main Street Board.
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Will the clerk please call the vote?
Mayor Pro Tem Brett McWhirter.
Aye.
Trustee Daniel Hennick.
Aye.
Trustee Nick Manning.
Aye.
Trustee David Tate.
Welcome.
All right, welcome.
you.
Thank you very much. All right, next up, El Rio Cantina liquor license renewal.
Yay! Okay, so their liquor license will renew on December 1st. They're one of the many people that come in and submit early. They have had no violations, I guess you would say. And the marshal's office, I checked with Justin before he did go on vacation to make sure he had no objections, and he did not.
Okay. Any comments, concerns, questions? Mancos Days went better this year? Okay, good. All
As a
right.
neighbor, I can say yes to.
Yeah. All right, then I look for a motion in a second. I look forward to going down. Yeah.
I make a motion to approve El Rio Cantina liquor license renewal and authorize the deputy clerk to submit the renewal application to the Department of Revenue.
Second.
All right, we have a motion in 2 seconds. Will the clerk please call the vote?
Mayor Pro Tem Brett McWhirter.
Aye.
Trustee Daniel Hennick.
Aye.
Trustee Nick Manning.
Aye.
Trustee David Tate.
All right, moving on to, yeah.
Just for the record, Andres approved the motion for El Rio Cantina liquor license renewal and authorized the deputy clerk to submit the application.
All right. Thank you. Mancos Opera House, letter of support.
So the Creative District is submitting a grant application again to the State Historical Fund to continue the rehabilitation of the Opera House. The town offered to submit a letter of support, and I attached that here for your review. She had also reached out to Nick, requesting a letter of support from him, not only in his role as trustee, but with construction background and community member and small and business owner and that kind of thing. So
Which totally went over my head. I didn't even know that.
oh,
So this is all new to me.
well,
Just to point out, I'm like, oh, I do read my email, but the request, I forwarded the request thinking it was from the town. I didn't know there was an individual request from me. So just I'm happy to do it, but I'm like, oh, this is news.
Yeah.
I didn't know I was getting homework.
So, yeah, and just so y'all know, and I wanted to say thank you, Nick, because initially the email just went to Nick asking for him to, as a board member and as a knowledgeable member of the community, to send this letter of support. And so I wanted to say thank you, Nick, for forwarding that to the town, because obviously we individually cannot speak for the town. And so it sounds like we could go a couple different ways based on what Nick wants to do.
Well, and I'm looking back at her original email, and it's not specific to me. It looks like a copy and paste with my name on it. That's why I kind of was like, oh, this is supposed to be for the town. There's nothing in here about my background in construction or any of this stuff. And so that's, so I'm just kind of like, okay. She didn't actually, it wasn't a personal request in the email. And so that's why I'm like, why? So anyway, I wish she would have just called me.
Yeah, I think it ended up that way because you were the only one that got the request.
Right, but the email's not written in a way that it looks unique to me. It just looks like a blanket form letter. Yeah. So anyway, slightly annoyed, but
I guess
whatever.
Why don't we amend the recommendation then to just be for the town?
Well, because it sounds like the request is to me personally to write a letter as a citizen versus the board writing the letter.
Right.
So I mean, I can reach out to her and clarify, but it sounds like that's what it is. It's two very distinct pieces. Yeah. So I don't want to muddy the waters here.
Yeah, because obviously if you as a business owner want to do that, that's great.
Yeah, she's got my other emails in my phone. I wish she would have just done that.
Yeah. And,
So I'm fine leaving it as is. I just want to kind of note that for the record.
yeah.
Okay.
Surprise. Yeah.
So, I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
And I'm happy to write a letter. I think it's a cool project. Now that I got that out of my system.
There you go.
Okay. You ready for a motion?
Anybody else want to comment? Do you think it's like, should we do it from the town as a whole?
Yes.
Should we also include a letter from Nick?
Yeah.
How do you want to?
That's fine. I'm fine with the verbiage there.
Okay.
And you all are making a motion. So if Nick wants to reach out to Chelsea
Yeah.
and clarify, he can, and then ultimately, if he's not comfortable, you're welcome to say no.
Yeah, that way you don't decide on the spot. I guess that's my, like, if I'm writing a,
Just allow it to happen if you want it to happen.
and I guess if I was to write a letter, it'd be not coming from trustee Nick Manning or
Correct.
Mancus letterhead. It would be from Nick Manning, who lives in town, who happens to be on the board of trustees. It's not representing the town of Mancus.
Yeah.
So I want to clarify that. That's where I'm confused here. Is like, it's not trustee Nick Manning writing an individual letter. It's citizen Nick Manning writing a letter.
Yeah.
And so it's a little bit of a,
And business owner. Yeah.
If you choose to, if this board wants to make this motion, then what it would allow you to do is say, in my roles as.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
you could include trustee.
Yeah.
Without this motion, the board could include trustee.
So then let's just leave it. Then I can put that, and then it covers my bases.
Yeah. We just want to protect you.
Yeah, and I want it to be protected. So.
Yeah.
Ultimately, though, the town does not have to see the law.
Oh.
Oh boy.
Yeah, it'll be.
Yeah. So the motion would be to approve authorization, and then he could back out if he wanted to, or he could add in.
But there's an opening.
That's why the motion uses the word authorize. I move to authorize. It doesn't say I move to submit. It doesn't.
Obligate.
You know what I mean?
Obligate, require. Yeah.
I move to authorize, allowing you to submit. So
Yeah.
it's to make that.
You must.
It is putting yours on now, but what it's going to do is it's going to
Yeah.
allow you to say to name any of your roles in your letter.
Yeah.
Of support should you choose.
Yeah, right, like the social media stuff we're talking about.
It's gonna be the same letter.
Can I make a motion?
Yeah. You're just going to copy.
I'll write one, but it's not. I'm not. Yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
It's gonna be fun.
Okay.
And Andres does support.
Okay.
This motion.
All right. I would entertain a motion for whatever you want to make it for.
I move to authorize the town administrator and trustee Nick Manning to submit 2 letters of support to the Mancus Creative District for the State Historical Fund grant for the Mancus Opera House project.
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Will the clerk please call the vote?
It should be an all in favor, shouldn't it? Because there's no obligation of money.
Oh, okay. All right. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Cool. Fall retreat discussion. Ah, shit. My phone's over there.
Let me read this before we get into your discussion. I'm open to most Saturdays, still 8 to noonish, this fall. The list of Saturdays below do not work for Andres. October 11th, October 18th, October 25th, November 1st, November 8th, December 20th, or December 27th. So what that leaves you all with, if you choose to have a fall retreat on Saturday, is
The 15th, the 22nd, the 29th, the 6th.
I was just going to say nothing in October because I'm actually out of town on the 4th. So, yeah, November 15th, November 22nd, November 29th, that is Thanksgiving weekend, FYI.
No, we're not doing that.
No.
December 6th, December 13th, or into January.
I'm good with November 15th.
Yeah, that's fine by me.
My calendar's coming up. It's probably.
Unless you would prefer to do it during the week, a weekday, a weeknight, a Sunday.
No.
That's all up to you.
I won't be able to do the 15th. I can't do the 15th.
How about the 22nd?
I can do the 22nd.
I can do the 22nd.
22nd.
I can't do the 22nd.
Okay.
I'm still waiting on my calendar. Hurry up. All right, what about December 6th then?
I'm good for that.
Good,
See if we can,
I can do that one.
are you here?
You're gone for that one?
Yeah, that's the one you can't be here
So
for.
January it is.
Damn it.
I'm sorry.
January it is.
December 13th doesn't work for anybody?
I think Andrea said no, and she's shaking
I
her
thought,
head profusely as well.
oh, okay. I thought
She's
that
out of
was
town.
one that you said we could do.
Which one?
December 13th. All right, well, then our fall retreat will be not
Winter
in this
retreat.
fall.
That's okay.
Maybe we could look at January.
Yeah, did he include January?
No.
Oh,
So my recommendation
Pick
is
one.
that since we're looking at January,
yeah.
let's push this into another agenda when Andres is here.
Yeah, makes sense.
That we can have everybody, most people here for it.
Yeah.
And then we can make a decision.
Yeah.
Let's put it on the agenda for the next meeting possibly.
Or workshop?
I don't need
Nah.
a workshop for it,
I mean, we
Nah.
can talk about it during.
but we can't make
We
a
can't
decision.
decide. Right,
Decision.
So,
Our retreat. Okay.
Yeah, we'll just put it on the
because
agenda.
it's gotta be noticed and stuff, so.
Okay.
So can we talk about it at the meeting in October?
Yeah,
October 8th, yes.
that works for me. And if Corey won't be able to make it, see if he can chime in with some that if there's no fire, I can make it
January.
to like January.
Except that's when the big California ones were last year.
Yeah. Well, the whole state burned, so I
mean,
think
there's not much
clear.
left to burn at this point, I
There
would
can't
imagine,
be.
so.
Okay, all right, so next up is item J, items for October 8th meeting. So we have the fall treat discussion that we'll bump to that night. 5:30 p.m. workshop is a joint workshop with Mancos Creative District. Consent agenda will include September 24 minutes, September bills and claims, committee update reports, public hearing on 2026 budget intro, and then a presentation on the Mancos Senior Center operating discussion by Kelly Hargraves, Director of Social Services for Montezuma County. Anybody have anything else they want to see on the agenda
I have
that
the
night?
budget, you said that right.
Heather?
Budget's on there, it's going to be a public hearing.
Mm-hmm.
And I had it on the workshop tonight, but we ran out of time.
Oh,
It's, rest assured, it's still balanced operating.
yeah.
And then I'll present information in October, because we're just introducing it. You want to adopt it until December, so we still have time. We do also have a Southwest Basin Roundtable grant application request for the raw water line. Kyle will be here to present that to you all. We submitted the application because we needed to, we ran out of time. So what we're doing basically is asking if we're approved, can we execute?
Okay.
So that will be on the October 8th agenda as well. The October 22nd meeting will be canceled. No, that's all I've got for that.
Okay. All right. I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
We are adjourned at